Hey YouTube, I had a good video for you yesterday about digging stumps and how nicely I cleaned up over there where I was. I'm not done digging stumps yet. I gotta finish on Monday. But for some reason the little memory chip thing went fluey and I lost the whole video. So it's Saturday. I was gonna go over there because it's such a nice day, but I can't get the truck to load stumps today, so I'm not going to fool with it. But I am greasing the machine and getting it ready. I greased the backhoe, and I also had a problem. There's a pin that goes through this chain here to swing the boom back and forth, and the pin was falling down. So I made a clip. I don't know if you can see it, and two. So you can see the clip I put in. The two bolts there is the key that holds that clip still. What happened was, and this is actually a shim that goes around the pin and fits in the hole of the boom. But there was only one bolt hole. The sun's in the way there. There was only one bolt in that clip before, so I put two in it. One here and then one closer. The sun is goofing me up here, but I put two bolts in there to hold that so that that clip wouldn't come off. Because with one bolt in there only, as soon as I'd back over something and it would hit that, it would pull it away. I think I'll be alright now. Guys, part of the video that I had while I was greasing the machine, I lost for some reason, but what I wanted to say to you is, look, this is definitely not the latest and greatest tractor. You can go buy tractors like this right now are around $80,000 this size, and you can buy all kind of tractors that have a lot more bells and whistles. But the power that this thing has is what I was after. I like the fact that it can pick itself up, that it has no problem picking up whatever you can fit in a bucket. It digs very well. It's a little, wobbly here and there, but not bad. The bushings aren't ready to be replaced on anything except for the bucket there in the back. But the one thing I wanted to say is that if you're a young guy and you're trying to get ahead, you cannot get ahead if you don't take care of your stuff. And when I say take care of your stuff, I mean, you should have had enough sense to marry somebody that's decent. And this goes in both directions. But, you want to take care of your spouse. You want to make sure that you're taking care of your kids. And you want to make sure you're taking care of the things that you need to make money for yourself. Because if you don't, it doesn't take much before you don't have any money. I give you good examples of, there were so many people I had work for me who were throwing their money away, and what would happen is their car would break down, and that was the end. They lost their job because they couldn't get to work. And I'm just saying that, to take care of your stuff the best you can, no matter how old it is, until you can afford to buy something better. For me, I can afford to buy a better backhoe, but I don't want a different backhoe because the strength that this has and the horsepower, I would have to spend well over $50,000 to get something like this. And I don't want to have to spend that kind of money because what I have to do left in my life anymore isn't going to pay for that. So even with all this lumber I have that I'm going to cut, and when I start to sell it, I don't feel it's going to be worth, getting another machine. But I'm just saying, take care of your stuff. Learn to take care of it, no matter what. Learn to fix things so you don't have to spend money paying people to do stuff for you. And the other thing that I'll add to that is when you give somebody your word and you're going to do something, you do it. Even if you lose money, still do it. Because in business and in your life, you're going to find out that your word means everything. I've got freaking kids that I told you know, well in advance of them growing up, what I was going to do if they did this, or what I would do if they did that. So they made their choices. Some of them were good, some of them not so good. But I kept my word with whatever I said, and it doesn't matter what somebody else thinks or doesn't think, as long as you keep your word and you know you've done that for yourself. That's another thing that's a good for business. If you're trying to make a business run and you want to do well in it, keep your word to people, and not just on big things, but on little things. You know, if somebody doesn't want you to wreck what they have, then don't wreck it. Be careful with what you're doing. That job that I'm doing down there, there's a driveway there that there's nowhere to really turn around except for in the middle of the road. And they have a blacktop driveway, but my machine weighs 6 tons. If I try turning around in that thing, I'll tear the blacktop up because, you know, blacktop driveways are not that thick. So you need to be alert to things like that so you don't cause yourself grief. But anyway, take good care of your things, and they'll take good care of you in the long run. And hopefully you can have your family understand, you know, what it takes to be a man in today's world. Regardless of this crap about transgender women stuff and all that nonsense. I'm talking about real men here. Off the tires can help to get the grease in where it doesn't want to go. That's going to be good for another couple of days. I don't really use the backhoe hard enough to grease it every single day. When I do use it, I don't know, probably every couple of weeks I'll grease it. And that's been good. Now if I used it every day for digging and, you know, really use it for everything that it knows how to do, I would grease it every day, but there's no point to that at this point. That glass that I just did there, that's plexiglass. The other one on the side, that's real glass, but it's cracked. I'm going to have to replace that sometime. But as long as it doesn't have any holes in there, it's not in threat of falling out at the moment, it'll be alright. Years go by, you know, that rubber around the windows doesn't last forever. It dry rots sort of, so got to kind of be careful with it. As it gets harder, it makes it harder for the glass to take bounces and bumps. But anyway, just so glad I got this thing. Still have it and still like taking care of it. Hey guys, so I'm done with the backhoe. It's after lunch. I brought the planer over. I was going to bring the Grizzly planer, but I have a 3-year warranty on this thing, and it's going to last me 3 years if it's the last thing I do, which means that no matter what, I'm going to be able to use this for 3 years, either the way it is, or if I got to go to Lowe's and get a replacement. I don't particularly care. I just want it for 3 years. They have a rubber, kind of like a rubber hose that goes over top of this, so that this rolls as you put boards back and forth. So I don't know if I'll get to do any planing today, because I want to fix this stuff. I want to put some tape around this. The table's wobbly, so I want to throw some more self-tapping and self-drilling screws in there to hold it tight, the table, so it's not wobbling. And then I need to start planing all that wood that's in there, because until I plane that, there's no sense in doing any sawmilling, because I just need to have a place to put all the wood. I don't know how long this black tape's going to hold up. I put duct tape on this thing last year and it didn't hold up too good. But tape is cheap, so as long as it stays on here, it should be alright with this. The thing is this planer has already cut about 7,000 board feet of wood. And everybody was crying to me, it's never gonna work, it's not gonna hold up. Well, it did hold up, and it's been holding up. So, it's a matter of how you treat it. As long as you don't take more than a 1/16 of an inch cut as you do this, you should be in good shape with it. You know, I gotta tell you, I was over at the house for lunch and I was looking on at the news, and I see in the news that the people in Britain, or whatever you call it, Britain, Great Britain, I don't know. But anyway, they're crying because they don't want Trump to come over there. And they're putting, you know, Trump's not invited or anything. Let me tell you something. Get over the fact, Britain, that we kicked your butt in the 1700s. A bunch of ragtags, I think you called us, which we probably still are, it doesn't matter. And then we had to come over in World War I. Then we had to come back over to World War II to keep your place from being run over, and Angela Merkel being your freaking queen at the moment. And that's another thing while I'm at it. Why don't you get rid of the queen? Put her out to pasture, put her in a single bedroom apartment, let her try and figure out how she's going to pay for her meds every day, since she's never done nothing in her life. And the rest of their kids, all them royalty, get them a freaking job, let them work for a living, instead of you people paying for them. And then turn the whole palace into a condo for old people who can't afford their medicine and stuff over there, and that are having a problem making things go from day to day. Because that lord and lady and freaking duke and duchess stuff don't work, okay? You've been trying it for a couple hundred years, and you know what? Didn't you learn anything yet? How long did it take you people to learn something? I've got a lot of people from Britain and England that watch my channel, and I'm not talking about any particular party here. What I'm upset about is, and it doesn't even matter if it's Trump, just the fact that you're not wanting somebody from America to come over there. After all we've done for you, it ain't like you done us a lot of favors. You gave us crap from the very start when we came to this country. And you're still giving us crap, sending all your freaking nonsense our way. How about keeping it over there? The point is Trump's coming over there to do whatever he's gonna do for you, and I guarantee you it'll be better than what you got now. And this freaking mayor of London that you guys got, give me a break, will you? I could find a better mayor if I looked amongst my grandkids. I got a 13-year-old daughter who would really be able to make him look sick running the show. So anyway, that's my rant for today. I shouldn't watch the news. I don't know why I did. I need to stop watching the news. Okay. I want to get some screws, some self-tapping screws, and put them in these legs. I don't like this thing moving like this. It drives me crazy. And then maybe I'll see how it planes. I'll be back in a little. These are the kind of screws I'm putting in there. I don't know if you can see these. They're self-drilling, they're self-tapping, and they have a hex head on them. Tightening it up. You're happy to be outside, yeah. Yeah. Not bad. I'm okay with that. Put two more in here yet. I want to put it against the sawmill there so that it doesn't move when I push on it a little. For those of you who are watching these boards, they're still straight. Although you can see where the compression would, see how this is coming apart here? This is a compression CC, remember the concave compression? You can see how that's coming apart. That's from compressed wood. It forces itself down, and wherever there was a knot or whatever, it forces it out. You can see it here along the grain. It's starting to come apart too. The rest of them are pretty nice though. Uh, I have some lead from I don't even know where I got it, but I have some lead. I'm going to throw 4 pieces on these things to help hold these rollers down because they're pretty light and they move easy. I got them at Harbor Freight for a couple bucks. I'll be right back. This is a piece of cherry wood. I don't know if you heard me. It's not the best. It was just the tree that I was cutting from was kind of small. You can see there's some sapwood on here. But this one side's not bad. The other side has a knot, a little bit of actual bark on it there. I want to go get my gauge to measure the wood. The planer's set at 3/4 right now, so this should be 3/4 of an inch thick. And you can see that it takes 2 small passes. I'd rather put the wood through an extra pass and save the planer than to push the planer to cut 1/8 of an inch on the first pass, because it's just, you know, I have the time and I don't want to burn the planer up. I'll be back. I gotta get a... For those of you who are new to my channel, I made these from aluminum flat stock. 1 inch, 7/8, 3/4, 5/8. It's a real quick way of measuring to see if you got 3/4. So this is right on 3/4, so I'm good with that. I'm not going to be planing a lot of wood today because I have other things I need to do. I just wanted to get set up, and then I'm going to cover this planer with some plastic and leave it out here, and then I'll plane another day. Probably, I'm thinking Tuesday or Wednesday, I guess. I'm going to show you this board I just took out of here. Now this is a piece of cherry. The pith is in this board. You can see it there running down through the middle. So the board cupped and split bad on that. So what I'm going to do is put this in the sawmill then and resaw it so it's a little smaller. So I'm just going to skip it for now because I don't feel like starting the sawmill up. I'm going to put one more wide board through there and then I'm going to quit. I just want you to see how I do it in case you're new to the channel. There's a nice looking cherry board. It's a 1x10. That board that's on there right now is 2.5 by 2.5. So when I cut it, I had cut it basically a little less than 3 by 3. I think I cut it 2 1/4. What I want that for is table legs, either to turn legs out of or I can use square legs. Now this particular board, you can see at the high end there, this is close to the edge of the wood. This is sapwood here, and if I turn this over, you can see there's a split in here. There's also one in here. Now I cut 3 or 4 of these because I wasn't sure if I would get any trouble, but from here down, very nice piece of cherry. I guess if I wanted to, I could probably fill out with something, but I probably won't even use that, but I'll use the better wood. Little knot down there. Probably till I turn it, it'll be fine. But you can't, I don't even think any of the stores locally sell stuff like this. And this isn't the good stuff yet either. This is just some edge of boards that were cut off the flitches. And how do I know that? Because they're the first ones on the pile that would have had to come from me cutting flitches. That's why I cut the flitches last, to help me remember that. I want to get this cherry in the greenhouse where it's going to be stored. I don't want it to be sitting out here too long. Might get goofed up. But very nice boards there. Now this one has some little bit of bark on the edges down there, but you still got a full 8 foot there. Got some nice 3/4 inch boards. something?
No, I'm looking. And I'm going to the chicken.
Okay. be it for today. It's been a long day. Been a long week. Can't wait to get that job done down there with the stumps so I can stay on my own property, get my own stuff done. Looks like we're starting to leaf out, guys. By next week we should be pretty much leafed out, I guess. Another week or two anyway.